Everyone says that grading your sports cards is the easiest way to make money in the hobby. And look, I agree with that partly, but there's one thing you guys should be looking out for with your sports cards, and today I'm going to highlight that. What's going on, guys? Matt here, back again with another video. So PSA have recently announced that they're going to be offering their bulk submission service again. Now, if you remember, this was put on hold early last year thanks to the backlog that they had with the huge influx of collectors and investors wanting to grade their sports cards. They are offering this service at $22 US per card, and this is a massive drop off from their previous fees of $50 and $100. This is massive news for collectors because it really didn't make any sense to send your low-end cards from your collection into grading, and now there's a service again available for that. With this news, there are still a couple of conditions, and I'm going to highlight that right now. PSA have come out and said the turnaround time is 120 business days, and really, who knows if they're going to adhere to that. Another thing is that if you use the bulk service, the maximum declared value for your card must be $199 or less. Otherwise, there is a price bump in grading fee. So with this reduction in grading fee, I anticipate there will be a bunch of you like myself that are going to be wanting to get your sports card graded. But there is one thing I have noticed this year with sports cards, and I don't want you to lose money making this mistake. The hottest main release in cards each year tends to be Prism. And if you've had a browse on eBay looking for your favorite rookie, you've probably observed that the centering on Prisms this year is terrible. I'm not sure if Panini have decided that they don't care about the quality of their cards anymore, with Fanatics taking over very soon, but it's been very disappointing this year. And I know we're not supposed to expect perfect cards, but I feel like that Prism cards have gotten more and more off-centered as the years have gone by. Let's look at the data and see if this is the case. I'm going to highlight the most popular player from the last 4 draft classes in the NFL and see what their gem rate is for their base Prism rookie card. When we look at gem rate, it's the amount of PSA 10s the card has divided by the total graded and then multiplied by 100. So in 2018, Josh Allen had a 35.7% gem rate out of 4,501 base Prism cards. The 2019 number 1 pick in Kyler Murray had a 38.6% gem rate out of 7,096 cards. 2020, the superstar from that draft class, Justin Herbert, had a 37.7% gem rate out of 11,214 cards. And if we move on to the 2021 NFL draft class, Trevor Lawrence has a 4.6% gem rate out of only 235 cards. Zach Wilson has a 31.5% gem rate out of 180 cards. Trey Lance, who was just injured, has a 46.8% gem rate out of 297 cards. And then Mac Jones, the Patriots quarterback, has a 58.3% gem rate out of 567 base Prism cards. Now, it is hard to identify anything massive as the product was only recently released, but there is a massive discrepancy between each of the players from top to bottom. I think the Trevor Lawrence gem rate obviously stands out as being drastically low, and it's probably not a great sign if you're wanting to grade your Trevor Lawrence cards. You do hear of certain cards over the years that are notoriously hard at getting PSA 10s, and this Trevor Lawrence card looks like it could be one of those cards. Obviously, it could be a sign of PSA graders becoming a little bit tougher, as a lot of people in the past have said that they hand out 10s like candy. But in my opinion, I think their print quality has gone down over the past few years. I've even noticed it when opening packs of Prism myself, and if you guys watched me open a Prism Blaster whilst I was overseas, you would have seen that most of my cards were way off-centered. Having poor centering on a card is an obvious sign that eye appeal of that card alone may potentially ruin the chance for a PSA 10 grade. And that's why I think it's especially crucial with this year's Prism to look at centering of cards even more so when purchasing them off eBay and other platforms. I've also even noticed a trend of centered cards actually fetching a premium price in comparison to off-centered cards. I'll show a great example of this with the Rookie of the Year from the 2021 NBA draft class, Scotty Barnes, and his red Prism numbered 299. As you guys can see, this listing ending on August 29th is poorly centered top to bottom and left to right and ends at $460. Meanwhile, a week later, this well-centered red Prism ends for nearly double the price at $800. It's currently the off-season in the NBA, so it wasn't like there was a key moment which could explain this spike in price. This is only a small sample size and it doesn't always correlate, but of the centered Prisms I have watched, I do find that most of them tend to finish over comps. This highlights the market is becoming very smarter and being very picky when it comes to buying raw cards, under the presumption that it will go towards grading. And if you guys have watched my PSA reveals, I have made a fair few mistakes with my earlier submissions, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes and lose yourself some money. I highly recommend if you're wanting to start sending cards into grading that you check the centering over and over on the listing so you can get a head start. And obviously having perfect centering does not guarantee a PSA 10 because you do have to factor in that the listing picture isn't showing corners, edges, and surface, but it's also a great start. Also keep in mind that if the card is centered, you might have to pay 10 to 20% over comps, as other people will be on the hunt for centered cards for grading. Another thing I would recommend is also projecting the potential future price of a graded card in 9 to 12 months once it does eventually return from grading. Just because a card is going for a certain price in a PSA 10 grade at the moment, it doesn't mean that's going to hold that price in the future, unfortunately. A great example is the Mac Jones Donruss PSA 10 rookie card earlier in the year, going for over $1,500 at one point, and then people were rushing in to send their Donruss cards in. Fast forward until now, and that same card is going for just under $100. That is it for today's video. If you guys got something out of this, please smash the like and subscribe button down below. I'll put my most recent PSA submission in the top corner over here so you guys can have a laugh at my expense. And yeah, as always guys, I'll see you all in future videos. Take care.